So, you've just hit submit on a credit card application. You're feeling completely confident, but then, boom, you're instantly hit with a big red denied screen. It's incredibly frustrating, right? Especially when you know for a fact your finances are in perfect order. Well, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going completely behind the scenes to uncover the hidden algorithms that dictate exactly who gets approved and who gets rejected. We're talking about the unwritten, heavily guarded application rules that banks definitely do not publish on their homepages. Specifically, we're going to decode the highly restrictive ecosystem of Capital One, revealing their secret limits, like the notorious 1/6 rule and the 2-card limit that routinely trip up even the most financially savvy applicants.
Okay, let's dive into this, because honestly, it is the ultimate financial mystery. Why on earth would a major bank reject a customer who boasts a flawless 800-plus credit score? It seems entirely counterintuitive. You pay your bills on time, you keep your credit utilization low, and you've built a spotless record. Yet the bouncer at the velvet rope of the credit card world still turns you away. Well, the reality is that your credit score is really just your ticket to get in line. Once you're actually at the door, the bank's automated systems are looking at a completely different set of criteria.
Look, an 800-plus FICO score is officially categorized as exceptional. It proves to lenders that you are a highly dependable borrower. But here's the secret. Exceptional credit is not a golden ticket to bypass internal bank algorithms. These institutions employ hidden, secondary rules to evaluate what they call your application velocity. They aren't just looking at whether you can pay them back. They're actively looking at how fast you're applying for new credit across the entire financial landscape and exactly how many accounts you currently hold.
Section 1. The Secret Bank Rules. To truly understand these restrictions, we first need to pull back and look at the broader industry context. You might already be familiar with the most famous of these unwritten policies, Chase's 524 rule. Basically, if you've opened 5 or more personal credit cards across any bank in the last 24 months, Chase will automatically decline your application for most of their cards. They don't officially publish this anywhere, but years of applicant data have proven it as absolute law. But Chase isn't the only one doing this. Every major bank has its own version of these velocity algorithms, acting as invisible tripwires for applicants.
So, why do banks do this? Well, first, it's about basic risk management. Opening a bunch of new credit accounts in a short period signals greater credit risk to the bank. But perhaps more importantly, these algorithms are designed to prevent what's known as churning. Banks spend a literal fortune on massive welcome bonuses to acquire long-term customers. They use these hidden rules to stop people who just want to rapidly open an account, snatch that massive points bonus, and then immediately close the card. It's basically an automated defense mechanism against welcome bonus abuse.
Section 2. Capital One's Hidden Limits.
Now, what's really interesting about this is that Capital One has quietly built one of the most rigidly strict application ecosystems in the entire industry. They are incredibly secretive compared to their competitors. While other banks might give you a warning or let you plead your case to a reconsideration line, Capital One's algorithms are notoriously automated and unyielding. You have to closely scrutinize your own credit report before even thinking about clicking that apply button for a Capital One product, because they evaluate you heavily on 2 major fronts: quantity and velocity.
Section 3. The 2-card limit.
2. That's it, just 2. This giant number represents the absolute ceiling for a specific type of Capital One account. If you already have 2 of these cards and you try to apply for a third, the automated system is going to shut you down instantly, regardless of how high your credit score is or how much money you make. No exceptions.
So, the crucial point is figuring out exactly which cards this rule actually applies to. Capital One is pretty unique in that they strictly limit you to holding a maximum of 2 personal credit cards at any given time. However, there's a massive silver lining here. Capital One business cards are generally unlimited. This means you could, theoretically, hold 2 personal cards and several business cards without an issue. But the moment you try for a third personal card, you are hitting a brick wall.
To really put Capital One's rigidity into perspective, let's compare them to American Express. American Express generally allows customers to hold up to 5 active consumer and business credit cards at one time. And get this, that doesn't even include their cards with no preset spending limits, like the Platinum or Gold cards, where you can hold up to 5 more. When you stack Capital One's strict 2-card personal limit up against the sheer flexibility of American Express, you immediately see why Capital One requires such careful planning.
Section 4. The strict 1/6 rule. Having room in your wallet for a Capital One card is only half the battle. We also have to look at the timeline. If you apply for your first Capital One card today, at month 0, you might get approved, which is fantastic. But if you try again at the 3-month mark, you are completely locked out. Capital One's automated system mandates that you can only be approved for one card every 6 months. You have to wait out this mandatory freeze period. Apply at month 3 or month 5, and it's an automatic denial. You absolutely must wait until that 6-month window has completely passed before trying for your next card.
And this brilliantly illustrates the ultimate catch within their system. Because unlike the 2-card limit, which only restricts personal cards, this 1 to 6 velocity rule applies to both personal and business cards. You can't just get a personal card and then grab a business card a month later. Furthermore, if you're looking to earn welcome bonuses multiple times on the exact same card, Capital One requires you to wait a full 12 months between receiving those bonuses. Patience is literally mandatory here.
Section 5. Strategy for success.
Let's move on and see how this builds a foolproof tactical playbook. Knowing these hidden algorithms are aggressively guarding the gates, how do informed applicants actually navigate these roadblocks? Step 1. Pull out your wallet and physically count your personal Capital One cards. If you have 2, you're done. Do not apply for another personal one. Step 2. Look at your cutter report and check the exact date of your last Capital One application to ensure you're entirely clear of that 6-month window. And step 3, because Capital One is so hypersensitive to recent applications, smart optimizers always sequence their Capital One applications before moving on to banks with looser velocity rules.
When you compare these velocity limits side by side, it becomes crystal clear why sequence matters. Chase will allow you to be approved for 2 personal cards in just 30 days. American Express will let you get 1 card every 5 days and up to 2 in 90 days. But Capital One, a grueling 1 card every 6 months. Because Capital One requires the absolute most patience and has the tightest velocity restriction, timing your application with them is absolutely critical for anyone looking to maximize their travel rewards.
Which leaves us with this final, provocative question. Are you sequencing your credit application strategically, or are you just rolling the dice and letting automated bank algorithms decide your financial fate? Understanding these secret rules, the strict 2-card limit and the unforgiving 1/6 rule, puts the power back in your hands. You don't have to guess why a bank denied you. You can plan your moves to ensure they don't. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I really hope this gives you the edge you need for your next application.